It was a quiet evening in Millbrook, a small town where nothing much ever happened. People went about their lives, enjoying the simplicity of a place where everyone knew each other. The sun had just set, leaving a soft glow in the sky. Tom Dawson, a retired engineer, was sitting on his porch sipping his evening tea and enjoying the cool breeze. Suddenly, a bright light shot across the sky, much brighter than any shooting star. It made a loud whooshing sound, followed by a massive crash that shook the ground. Tom nearly dropped his tea. His first thought was, "What in the world was that?" Curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed his flashlight, put on his old hiking boots, and headed into the woods where the crash seemed to have happened. The forest was dark and filled with the sounds of distant animals and trees swaying in the wind. But Tom was determined to find whatever crashed here. As he got closer, he saw smoke rising from a large crater in the ground. When he reached the edge of the crater, he was stunned. There, half buried in the earth, was what looked like a spaceship. It was dark, metallic, and nothing like he had ever seen before. Tom's heart was beating so fast. This wasn't an airplane crash like he thought probably was. Tom wasn't the only one who saw something crashing. Juliet Dale, his next-door neighbor, and a schoolteacher saw the light too. She was out for an evening walk when she noticed Tom heading into the woods and decided to follow him. Together, they decided to approach the wreckage carefully. As they stood at the edge of the crater, wondering what to do, a hatch on the spaceship opened with a loud noise. Smoke came out, and a tall figure stumbled out, falling to the ground. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. It was tall, with silvery skin, and had large, dark eyes that seemed to glow. Tom and Juliet exchanged nervous looks. "Should we help it?" Juliet asked, while her voice was shaking. Tom nodded. "I think we should." They moved closer, and Tom gently shook the alien's shoulder. "Hey, are you okay?" The alien's eyes opened, and it made a series of strange, melodic sounds. It was clear they couldn't understand each other. Then the alien tried to stand up, but he collapsed again. "We need to get it to safety," Juliet said. "It's hurt," Tom agreed. "Let's take it to my place. We can figure out what to do next there." Carefully, they lifted the alien and carried it back through the woods to Tom's house, making sure no one saw them. Back at Tom's house, they laid the alien gently on the couch. They had no idea how to treat its injuries, but tried their best to make it comfortable. While they were taking care of the alien, the door slowly opened, and Emma, Tom's teenage granddaughter, walked in. She was staying with him for the summer. "What's going on?" Emma asked as she saw the alien on the couch. Tom took a deep breath. "Emma, we think it's an alien. It crashed in the woods." Emma started blinking nervously, trying to process the information. "An alien? Really?" Just then, the alien opened his eyes again. He looked around, and then his gaze settled on Emma. He tried to speak, but the sounds were still unintelligible. "We don't understand you," Emma said gently. "Can you understand us?" The alien touched a small device on his wrist, and a moment later he spoke again, this time in clear and slightly mechanical English. "Thank you for helping me. My name is Aaron. My crew and I crashed. We need your help." "Your crew?" Tom asked, surprised. Aaron nodded. "There are 4 more of us in the ship." Tom, Juliet, and Emma exchanged confused looks. This was getting more complicated by the minute. "We need to help them too," Juliet said. We can't leave them out there. Tom sighed, but agreed. All right, let's go. Emma, you stay here with Aaron. Emma nodded enthusiastically, while her fear was replaced by excitement. As Tom and Juliet headed back into the woods, Emma turned to Aaron. Don't worry, we'll help your friends. Soon, Tom and Juliet returned with the rest of the crew. Their names were Zara, Tarek, Leon, and Vera. They were all injured, but still conscious. Emma, Juliet, and Tom worked together to make sure everyone was as comfortable as possible. Over the next few days, they took care of the aliens, learning about them bit by bit. Aaron and the crew were explorers from a distant planet, studying Earth when their ship malfunctioned. They were peaceful and only wanted to go home. The days turned into weeks, and the aliens became a part of Tom's household. Aaron and his crew, despite their strange appearance, fit in surprisingly well. They shared their advanced technology and knowledge with Tom, who was fascinated by the complex yet elegant designs of their tools and machines. Juliet spent hours talking to them about their home planet and customs, learning about their society and ways of life. Emma, however, formed the deepest bond with the aliens. She was especially close to Aaron, who had a gentle and kind heart. They would spend hours in the backyard, where Aaron would tell her stories of his adventures in the cosmos. Emma, in turn, taught him about Earth's culture, music, and even some silly internet memes. The laughter and friendship that filled Tom's home were heartwarming. One sunny afternoon, as they all gathered for a meal, Tom looked around the table. It was a mix of humans and aliens, laughing and sharing stories like old friends. He cleared his throat and raised his glass. "I never thought I'd say this," Tom began, "but you all feel like family now. It doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is that we're here for each other." Juliet nodded. "You're right, Tom. We've learned so much from each other. You're not just guests anymore. You're family." Aaron, Zara, Tarek, Leon, and Vera looked at each other, and then Aaron spoke for all of them. "Thank you. Your kindness and acceptance have shown us the true meaning of family." But a couple of days later, as Tom was tending to his garden, a convoy of black SUVs pulled up to his house. Men in dark suits stepped out, and their faces were serious. Tom's heart sank, because he knew this day might come. Agent Lawton, the commanding officer, approached Tom. "Mr. Dawson, we know about the aliens. For the safety of our nation, and yourself, we need to take them in." Tom's hands began shaking. "They're not a threat. They're peaceful. They just want to go home." He replied to him. Agent Lawton remained unmoved. "Orders are orders, Mr. Dawson. Step aside." Before Tom could respond, Juliet came out of the house, followed by Emma and the aliens. Juliet spoke up. "You can't take them. They're not dangerous. They're our friends." Emma held to Aaron, tears in her eyes. "Please don't take them away. They're family." Aaron stepped forward, and his attitude remained calm. "We do not wish to cause harm. If our presence endangers you, we will go with them." "No!" Emma cried, hugging Aaron tighter. "There has to be another way." Tom took a deep breath and faced Agent Lawton. "Listen, give us a chance to fix their ship. Let them leave Earth peacefully. That way, you won't have to worry about them anymore." Agent Lawton seemed to consider this for a moment. "And how long will this take?" Tom thought quickly. "Give us 2 weeks. If we can't get them off the ground by then, you can take them." There was a long, tense silence. Finally, Agent Lawton nodded. "All right, you got 2 weeks, but we'll be watching." As the agents left, the weight of the situation hit everyone. They had a deadline, and failure was not an option. "We have to work together," Juliet said with determination in her voice. "We can do this." Tom nodded. "We'll need to use everything we've got. Aaron, we need your help." Aaron placed a hand on Tom's shoulder. "We will do whatever it takes. We trust you." Emma wiped her tears and said, "Let's get to work. We're not losing our family." And so, with the clock ticking, they set out to repair the spaceship. The days flew by as everyone worked really hard to repair the spaceship. Tom's garage became an improvised workshop, filled with alien technology and tools spread across every surface. Tom, with his engineering background, took the lead in fixing the ship's systems. He was amazed at the advanced technology they had. He was learning from Aaron and his crew, who guided him through every complicated task. Juliet and Emma were really useful too. Juliet kept everyone motivated and with full bellies. She also helped with simpler repairs, as her steady hands and patience came in handy. Emma, with her quick mind and boundless energy, took on tasks like translating alien manuals, using Aaron's wrist device, and bringing parts from the crash site. As the first week passed, the pressure was increasing. Agent Lawton's words echoed in their minds and reminded them of the deadline that was approaching. Despite the stress, they found moments of joy and happiness. Late-night work sessions often turned into storytelling times, with Aaron and his crew sharing tales of their home planet and their adventures across the galaxy. These stories provided a much-needed boost to their moods. One evening, as they were working on a crucial component for a ship, a loud crack was heard from the garage. Tom was cursing under his breath because the part that snapped was essential for the ship's propulsion system. "We're running out of time," Tom said, with frustration clear in his voice. "Without this part, the ship won't fly." Aaron examined the broken piece. "We need a material that can withstand extreme stress and heat, something we don't have on Earth." Juliet bit her lip while thinking and trying to come up with something. "What if we try to find a substitute? There must be something that can work," she said. Then Emma spoke. "Maybe Dr. Helen Flynn at the research facility can help. She's a brilliant scientist. She might be able to do something. It's worth a shot." Tom made a call to Dr. Helen Flynn, who was an old colleague of his, who now worked at a nearby research facility. She agreed to come over that evening. When she arrived, she was taken aback by the sight of the aliens in the backyard, but she quickly composed herself, while her scientific curiosity was taking over. "This is incredible," Helen said, examining the broken part. "I've never seen anything like this, but I think I know a material that might work." She explained her plan to synthesize a high-strength alloy that could replace the broken piece. It would take time, but it was their best shot. Everyone pitched in to help, following Helen's instructions. The garage became filled with activity once again, while people were working through the night. And when morning came, Helen held up the newly created part, with pride in her eyes. "This should be able to do it. Let's hope it works." Tom and Aaron carefully installed the new component. The moment of truth had arrived. Aaron powered up the ship, and everyone was holding their breath while waiting to see if this would work. Lights flashed on, and the ship came to life. Everyone cheered when that happened, but there was still work to be done. "We need to run a full system check," Aaron said. "If everything passes, we can be ready by tomorrow." The next day was filled with final preparations before the trip. The systems check went smoothly, and by evening, the ship was ready for launch. Tom, Juliet, Emma, and Dr. Helen were standing with the aliens and felt a mix of relief and sadness. "You did it," Emma said, hugging Aaron. "You're going home." Aaron smiled. "Thanks to all of you. We couldn't have done it without your help and kindness." Just as they were about to board the ship, Agent Lawton and his team arrived. Tom stepped forward, ready to argue, but Agent Lawton raised up his hand. "We've been watching," he said, "and we see now that they mean no harm. We'll allow them to leave." Relief washed over everyone. And with final goodbyes and promises to stay in touch, the aliens boarded their ship. The engines of the ship activated, and with a final wave, they lifted off, disappearing into the night sky. Helen, while watching the ship vanish, turned to Tom. "This has been quite the adventure. If you ever need help with anything otherworldly, you know where to find me." Tom smiled. "Thank you, Helen. We couldn't have done it without you." Months passed, and life in Millbrook slowly returned to normal. Yet, for Tom, Juliet, Emma, and even Helen, things were never quite the same. They had shared an extraordinary experience that bonded them deeply and opened their eyes to the vast possibilities of the universe. Tom continued with his daily routines, but his evenings were often spent gazing at the stars, wondering about Aaron and his crew. Juliet resumed teaching at the local school, but she incorporated new lessons into her curriculum. She talked to her students about acceptance, diversity, and the importance of helping others, no matter how different they might seem. Emma, on the other hand, found herself fascinated by science and technology in a way she never had before. Inspired by the aliens' advanced technology and their stories, she joined the school's science club and spent hours playing with electronics and studying astronomy. Dr. Helen Flynn returned to her research with a newfound enthusiasm. She couldn't stop thinking about the materials and technology she encountered. Her work began to reflect these influences, leading to a lot of new discoveries and innovations. One evening, as Tom, Juliet, and Emma gathered for dinner, a small package arrived at Tom's doorstep. It was dark and metallic, with no return address. Tom's heart skipped a beat as he carefully opened it. Inside was a small device and a note written in a language they now recognized. "We made it back safely. This device will allow us to stay in touch. Thank you for showing us the true meaning of family. Aaron." Tom activated the device, and to their amazement, a holographic image of Aaron appeared. "Hello, family," Aaron said. Tears filled Emma's eyes as she and Juliet gathered around. "We miss you," Emma said. Aaron smiled. "And we miss you too. Our journey continues, but your kindness and friendship have left an unforgotten mark on us. We will always be connected, no matter the distance." From that day on, Tom, Juliet, and Emma kept in regular contact with Aaron and his crew. They shared stories of their lives, exchanged knowledge, and continued to learn from each other. Life in Millbrook went on, but the experience they had changed all of them. They knew that somewhere out there, their friends were exploring the cosmos, and they were part of that journey too. It was a new beginning, filled with endless possibilities, and the knowledge that family isn't just about who you're born with, but who you choose to hold in your heart.